Known today for their medical facilities, upper-level Freemasons or Shriners sport Muslim-style fez caps, a logo with a Middle Eastern sword, and a history of secrecy. Who are these guys, and what is their connection to our government and its history? As one travels about the United States, you might notice that every major city has its Masonic temple, from our capital in Washington, D.C. to such out-of-the-way places as Fairbanks, Alaska, and the old town of Tombstone in Arizona. A stroll through most cemeteries will reveal Masonic symbols on many of the headstones dating back to the earliest years of our country. A glance at our currency suggests a mysterious connection with this odd organization. Our national monuments paint a picture of not only intellectual prowess, but of ancient mysteries as well. What started, they claim, as a stone masons fraternity which guarded the secrets of their craft has become a bizarre, eclectic web of religious ideas, all mixed together into an ecumenical soup of deism. Their goal, they claim, is to seek the light, or the light of truth. The question is, what is truth? The American Masonic connection can be traced back to England, where in 1717 the first Masonic Grand Lodge was formed in London. Prior to that, history is questionable at best. Many books have been written about the Brotherhood, spinning wild tales of political conspiracy and intrigue. Many claim to reveal dark spiritual connections linked to numerous occult mysteries and even satanic beliefs. Traditionally, Catholics and other denominations have forbid membership to Masons. However, more recently, they have taken a more neutral stand. Famous evangelists such as William Booth of the Salvation Army and Charles Finney all spoke out against Freemasonry. The Methodist Church went through a split in 1860, partially due to the Masonic question. In London, one can see a stained glass window in John Wesley's old Methodist church, donated by the local Masons. This gives us some clues to the reasons behind the birth of the Free Methodist Church. They have taken a stand to be free of Masons. Masonic influence on Mormon prophet Joseph Smith can clearly be seen in his Theology, and later on Brigham Young's followers in establishing their Utah empire. Masonic symbols are clearly seen on their early temples and public buildings. Much of their sacred temple ritual, with its blood oaths and penalties, was plagiarized from secret Masonic ritual. This is pointed out by ex-temple worker Chuck Sackett in his book, What's Going On in There? Our country was founded by a mixed bag of brave and adventurous men and women, and their religious beliefs were as mixed as well. While many were dogmatic Christian Puritans, others held more eclectic beliefs, with deism being the common denominator with the rest of society. Though many were not Christian in the biblical sense, they could endorse the idea that in God we trust, because they were not foolish enough to reject the whole concept of the divine being. They understood what Solomon's father, David, the king of Israel, wrote, "The fool has said in his heart there is no God." In true Unitarian fashion, Thomas Jefferson could not come to believe in Christ as the only begotten Son of God, yet one of his famous quotes is, "Indeed, I tremble for my countrymen when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever." Jefferson had such disdain, however, for the biblical Jesus that he literally clipped out the supernatural from the pages of the Gospels and pasted the story of a human Jesus to blank pages. This work came to be known as the Jefferson Bible and was published at government expense after his death. Secrecy, which may have started with the artistic stonecutters protecting their trade secrets, eventually broadened to become the free and accepted Masons, which accepted anybody and everybody who was a somebody. Freemasonry has played a major role in the world of a deist politician and the founding of our country. 13 of the 39 signatures on the Constitution were Masons, and many of those who signed the Declaration of Independence as well. Some familiar Masonic names are Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, Paul Revere, Peyton Randolph, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and most of the federal buildings, including the White House and Capitol building, had cornerstones laid with Masonic ritual, with Masonic paraphernalia placed inside. The streets of D.C. are laid out in Masonic square and compass design. Our Lady Liberty in New York's harbor is the product of French and U.S. exchange. Masonic exchange, that is. A Masonic flag was even taken to the moon. What's that about? One of the most impressive buildings in Washington, D.C. is a monument called the House of the Temple, which is the headquarters of the Southern Supreme Council. It's been that since 1915. Here you can see the library of the Supreme Council, which was first formed by General Albert Pike. He was the Grand Commander of the Supreme Council from 1859 until his death in 1891. One of his great accomplishments was a book entitled Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which was written in 1871. Because of the secretive Masonic tradition, few people are aware of the true nature of its beliefs. Much of Masonic literature is both contradictory and misleading. For example, within the Masonic temple there is an altar where the member kneels before a deity, the great architect. Yet, even with these obvious religious symbols, most members will deny that Freemasonry is a religion. Their own literature, however, speaks otherwise. Albert Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry states, "Masonry is that religious and mystical societies whose aim is moral perfection on the basis of general equality and fraternity, and Freemasonry may rightfully claim to be called a religious institution." Henry Wilson Coyle's Masonic Encyclopedia states, "Some think because it, the Lodge, is not a strong or highly formalized or highly dogmatized religion, such as the Roman Catholic Church, it can be no religion at all. But the Church of Friends, that is the Quakers, exhibits even less formality and ritual than does the Masonic Lodge." Freemasonry is a religion, and a religion that is in direct opposition to Christianity. Masons do not respect the Bible as a divine authority, but only a symbol. Coyle, for example, states, "The prevailing Masonic opinion is that the Bible is only a symbol of divine will, law, or revelation, and not that its contents are divine law, inspired, or revealed." Now, Albert Pike says, "The Bible is an indispensable part of the furniture of a Christian lodge only because it is the sacred book of the Christian religion. The Hebrew Pentateuch in a Hebrew lodge and the Quran in a Mohammedan one belongs on the altar, and one of these and the square and compass properly understood are the great lights by which a Mason must walk and work." Now this, of course, is a problem, because Jesus said, "I am the light of the world, and he who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." To say that all religions have light, as in Freemasonry, is to say that all religions have Jesus, which is not true. They may believe in a Jesus, but it is certainly not the Jesus of the Bible. After 9/11, we toured the Masonic House of the Temple in Washington, D.C., the headquarters of the Southern Supreme Council since 1915, and we were shown the altar where a Bible or a Quran is displayed, depending on the event. And the tour guide did not seem to share our concerns at all regarding this obvious contradiction.